Hey, good morning, Algebra 2, and welcome to another week. Just a reminder, including today, we have 6 days left, okay? So let's finish strong. Make sure if you have questions about old assignments, you get to me in the next couple of days. Don't wait till next week. Next week, we're just going to be wrapping things up. There's not going to be much time to change your grade, okay? So reach out to me if you still have questions about your grades. But finish strong, 6 days left. I know you can do it. I know it's been weird, but let's get through this and finish strong. So today we're going to talk again about geometric sequences, and we're going to figure out how to write a formula for a geometric sequence. Okay, so just a reminder, our geometric sequences, they occur when we are going to be multiplying. Okay, so a geometric sequence occurs when you say multiply everything by a common ratio. So in our first example, common ratio is 3, so we multiply everything by 3. Maybe it's multiply everything by 5, okay? It could be anything, as long as you're consistent. It's common ratio, meaning it happens again and again and again. So this first question tells us to write the first 5 terms here, okay? So remember, the first term we represent with A1, and it already tells us the first term is 5. Okay, so A1 is going to equal 5. A2, if the common ratio is 3, we do 5 times 3, we're going to get 15. A3 will be 45, as we multiply that 15 by 3. Okay, A4, we take the 45 by 3. Sorry, let me rewrite A4. It kind of looks like 94. So 45 times 3 gives us 135. And then our final one here, A5, 135 times 3, and that will give us 405. Okay, and if you couldn't do those in your head, that's fine. Use a calculator. Remember, Calc 2.0. Use your iPhone. It doesn't bother me if you use a calculator, as long as you understand how we're getting these numbers. So if we look here on the next example, it says for each of the following sequences, it's going to be a geometric sequence, so we know they follow that rule with common ratio, and it asks us to find the first 4 terms. Now, at this point, we don't know what the common ratio is, but we're going to use these 2 examples kind of to figure out a pattern, and then we'll write our formula right here for what a geometric sequence is. So A sub n, we got to find A1, A2, A3, and A4 for both of these. So we'll start with A1. If we plug a 1 right in here for the n, 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 raised to the 0 power, remember, anything raised to the 0 power is just going to be 1. And 1 times negative 5 will give us negative 5. Okay, so A sub 2, the next one, 2 minus 1 will give us a 1. 2 to the first is 2, and 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. A sub 3, if we plug a 3 in, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 to the second is 4, and 4 times negative 5 will give us a negative 20. And the final one, if we plug a 4 in, 4 minus 1 gives us 3. 2 to the third is an 8. 8 times negative 5 gives us a negative 40. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see some patterns, some key parts of this. But let's go to the second example, and then we'll come back and we'll examine this one. So our next one, once again, we got to find what A sub 1 is, A sub 2, A sub 3, and A sub 4, because we're finding the first 4 terms. So we plug in a 1. Once again, 1 minus 1 is 0. 3 to the 0 is just 1. 2 times 1 gives us 2 as our first number. Second one, A sub 2. Put a 2 in there. 2 minus 1 right here. We plug in the 2 in for the n. 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 to the first is 3. 3 times 2, that gives us 6. Okay, and now our next one, I know it's hard to see, but that's A sub 3. Plug a 3 in. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 to the second is just going to give us 9. 9 times 2 gives us 18. Okay, and the final one, plug a 4 in. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 to the third is 27. That's 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, and 27 times 2 gives us 54. Now, hopefully you can start to see, here's our generic, or our formulas, okay? And we know it's always got to start with an a sub n. So we know our geometric sequence will always start with a sub n. And then at this point, whatever a to the 1 or a sub 1 is, that is always that term right there. In our example 2, it was -5. In example 3, it was 2. Both of those are a sub 1. So we can put a sub 1 right here. So anytime we know what the first term is, we can start to write this formula. Now, the other thing that's important to us is, what's our common ratio? What am I multiplying by? And in this case, -5 to -10 times to -20 to -40. Hopefully you can recognize that's 2. Right here is where our 2 is. And on this next one, 2 times 3 gives us 6, times 3 is 18, times 3 is 54. And that 3 is right here. Now, because the initial term is here, our common ratio will be multiplied by that initial term, but it's always raised to the n minus 1, because we want that first one. If we plug a 1 in there, I need it to cancel out, and we're left with just a sub 1 there. Okay, so now, if we scroll down here, it says find the specific term. And they give us the 18th, or they want us to find the 18th term of this geometric sequence, 2, 4, 8. Now, because it's a geometric sequence, we know it's got to be consistent. So we have the first 3 terms. If it helps you, let's go ahead and label this. So that's a sub 1, a sub 2, and then a sub 3 is 8. Now, if we come up, well, first off, we could just figure out what our common ratio is and write it out all the way until we get to the 18th term. But it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of spots for us to make a mistake. Instead, I think the better idea, let's use this geometric sequence formula, and we'll write our own for this example. So, still going to start with a sub n, and it's going to equal whatever a sub 1 is, which in our case, we know is 2. It's the first term. It's always the first term. Okay? Now, times whatever r is, our common ratio. So 2 goes to 4, 4 goes to 8. In both cases, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 times 2. Okay? Now, 2 will be raised to the n minus 1. And in our case, if instead of a sub n, we are trying to find a sub 18, it'll be 2 times 2 to the 18 minus 1. Now, 18 minus 1 is 17. And I don't expect you to do this in your head, but once again, just go to Calc 2.0, okay, or use your iPhone. Doesn't matter to me. And so once again, 18 minus that 1, sorry, it's kind of blurry there, but that's 18 minus 1, which gives us 17. So 2 to the 17th power. So we have to do 2 raised to the 17th, and that will be equal to 131,072, but we're not quite done, because keep in mind there is also that 2 at the front. So we have to do that number times 2, which will give us 262,144. So we'll get our final answer for, oops, gotta get my pen back. A sub 18 will equal 262,144. So, once again, if you have questions about this, please reach out to me. If you have questions about other things we've done, please reach out to me. I'm here as your resource, but we're running out of time, okay? Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.